All aboard! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, basketball fans of all ages, I am Beast Mikey of Not Riding in my train of thought. It is time to get back into the power rankings. I'm going to shorten this one and kind of do a quick version of this, and then we'll get back to the full version of it more than likely on Thursday. So let's not waste any more time and get to business. We're going to start with this 72-73 Sixers tier. And I thought we'd go Washington first, but instead it's going to be Utah, then Washington, Charlotte, Philadelphia, New Orleans, and Brooklyn. And when it comes to this tier, why is Utah last? Well, Utah is cratering. They are finding their way to the bottom, and it actually tracked Washington down. Washington actually played better over the last couple of days, and now they're tied for the worst record in the league. Similar situation with Charlotte and New Orleans and Philly. They're all fighting for who the third worst record is. And when it comes to the Sixers, I thought we were done with this whole investigation by the NBA thing, but apparently we're not done with this investigation into the NBA thing. Not into how low their ticket prices are, but in the management of Maxey, George, and Embiid. It's not great. Brooklyn, you're just naturally bad. No one's really worried about you, and I think that's the best possible thing I could say in this situation. The 71-72 Phoenix Suns tier. San Antonio, Toronto, Portland, Miami, Chicago, and Orlando. Miami is fading fast, and it is very concerning. It's not on the board that they're going to miss the play-in. That's probably happening. They're probably your 9 seed. I don't think Chicago can catch it. But it is on the board that Miami, upon getting said play-in game, loses to the Bulls, and then we don't see them, and then who knows what happens with the Heat from there. Actually, as a matter of fact, it's on the board that they don't even host the game. Brooklyn's probably not going to track them down, but it's on the board that the game's in Chicago, not Miami, because they are in rough shape. They've lost 6 straight. They've been 3-7 in their last 10. It's not great. Chicago's been kind of meh, but they're gaining some fire. They've won 4 straight, which is good. Orlando's been kind of topsy-turvy. I think still sort of figuring out the pecking order between Paolo and Wagner. It should be Paolo, but Wagner's just played really, really well. And I think the rest of this tier is kind of steady. It's a shame what happened to San Antonio with losing not only Wemby, but then De'Aaron Fox to his pinky injury. He'll be out for the rest of the year, so that's a really frustrating turn. The Spurs are going to be fun to watch in the 25-26 season as long as Wemby and Fox are there. And then whatever they do with their 2 first-round picks, it should be really, really good. Just let Stephen Castle develop from this point, honestly. Let's go to the 93-94 Nuggets tier. Dallas, Phoenix, Atlanta, Sacramento, LA Clippers, and Detroit. I didn't want to have to move Detroit down, but I think it's necessary with the way that a team that I'm going to name in the next tier has played. And Detroit's kind of been sort of stable, not great. The Kings are playing well. The Kings are playing pretty well, and I like what I'm seeing from Sacramento since the De'Aaron Fox trade. They look pretty good short term. Phoenix has shown some pulse, and they've shown some muscle. Dallas really hasn't, and Dallas is kind of sort of only in this tier because the Western teams below them probably aren't catching them. The 10 seed's really about Phoenix and Dallas, and Phoenix just beat them last week in Dallas. I kind of hope Dallas misses the playoffs. They don't need to make it. There's just no pulse. There's no energy here. Atlanta, you're probably going to end up being the 7 or 8 seed fighting Orlando for that game at wherever it's going to be. But Miami is fading fast, so that's your game. And with the Clippers, you probably are going to make it too, and you're going to make it into the higher, either the 6th seed or you're going to end up being 7 or 8, depending on how this goes. In the Western Conference, in that Battle Royale, I think you're going to do fine in the play-in game, and maybe 2 if you have to have 2. But yeah, it's a fight all the way through for the Western Conference. Detroit, you'll be okay. To the 2001-02 Kings tier, Minnesota, Milwaukee, Indiana, Memphis, Houston, and the LA Lakers. The LA Lakers not having LeBron and Luka, it's not great. And this is a brutal stretch for the Lakers in terms of not having those two, A, well, LeBron, really. Luka didn't play last night. And B, not having a lot of your other depth. And then C, having to play 6 and 8 nights. That is a rough stretch for the LA Lakers. And they're obviously bearing the brunt of it with all these losses that they've had lately. They actually put up a fight against Denver, but Luka could not withstand Jokic. And a lot of teams can't, so it's not really your fault. It's just victim of circumstance, I guess. Houston catching fire. I like what I'm seeing from them. They won 7 of 10. Looking better. Memphis is steady. That Tyrese Halliburton shot over Giannis may have a major ripple effect when it comes to the Eastern Conference seedings. Indiana, Detroit, Milwaukee are going to fight each other tooth and nails to get to the end and get to home court advantage. They're a game separated from each other. Indiana and Milwaukee are tied, and then Detroit's a game out behind them. It's going to be a wild fight to see who's 4 and 5 and who's 6 and has to play the Knicks. Speaking of which, the Knicks are going to lead off the 95-96 Bulls tier. In front of them, Golden State, Denver, and then your big three in Boston, Oklahoma City, and Cleveland, where Golden State's earned their way into this tier because they are scorching. They've won 9 of 10, and they've absolutely shredded everything in front of them. The one loss being the Sixers, though. That's a little weird. Anyway, they're getting healthier. Kuminga just came back, and they're starting to get more well-rounded. Butler is cooking. Curry is cooking. They're absolutely dominating a lot of their foes. They just beat the Knicks not too long ago. They play the Knicks tonight. It's a vital game, really for the Knicks to show that they can beat the teams that are either A, upper echelon in record, and B, upper echelon in terms of performance. Golden State is not too far away from the Knicks, like a handful of games away. Like, the top three is pretty much cemented, as Cleveland is allergic to losing, and Oklahoma City is scorching because SGA is going to win MVP, and then Boston is doing what they do, and they're just rock steady. And that's a huge deal. That's a really good look. Boston's your 2 seed in the East. Cleveland's your 1 seed in the East. Whoever wins the play-in tournament games for those 2 spots, you're getting gentlemen swept at best. Oklahoma City, same deal. Whoever the 8 seed is in the Eastern Conference, in the Western Conference, good luck. You're going to get bulldozed. And if the best you can hope for in the Western play-in is playing Denver, it's not great. It may be Memphis. You may be able to get away with it if Memphis leaps Denver for the 2nd seed. I don't see it, but it's possible, I guess. And that's kind of like your best hope. Yikes! It's not great. The West really is a fight to the death. Let it be known. So there you have it. That is your power rankings for this week. I know it's a little shorter than normal, but we're gonna get into the longer form probably Thursday, and we're going to do the 3 words or less and get back into that. Also, other things coming up on this channel. I'm going to go into mock draft season. I do love this time of year, and I'm going to try to drop a mock for the Dolphins, because I am a Dolphins fan after all, and see after free agency, where does Miami go from here in the NFL draft in a month and a half? That should probably happen on Wednesday or so. So with that in mind, Miami Mocks, you're going to be the first stop of my next train of thought.